We're headed very fast down a very slippery slope with AI. And I'm sure there's a lot of fear that you've heard from people, and some of us do believe that AI will take some jobs away. Countries that have BPO sectors have those concerns. But there is a bigger topic, there's a more pertinent topic, and that is sovereignty. The global north really has kind of won the race. There are three races in AI that are happening right now. The hardware race, that software race. On the one side of this coin is hardware and software, but herein comes the opportunity. On the other side of the coin is AI services. So AI is a great leveler. For every $1 of hardware and software that is made, 100 to 1,000, maybe even $10,000 of services get sold in the world. So we're sitting on a gold mine of an opportunity. And you know who's going to win that race? The global south.
It is now my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker for this morning, Mr. Ed Watal, Principal and Founder of Intellibus, who will share his vision and expertise to guide our discussions today. Please make him welcome.
Very good morning to all of you. I hope everybody had a good night's sleep as much as I did. I had to. Thank you again to CTU, Secretary General Rodney Taylor, for this opportunity for staff. And thank you, of course, to the entire team that's worked really hard, not just from CTU, but all the other folks in the room. Thank you to all the ministers for making the trip from different places. Of course, Jamaica, it's easier. You can walk up here. But for everyone else who got on a flight and got here yesterday, had an opportunity to meet a lot of you yesterday. It was very encouraging to hear the mood and the environment in the room, especially as we head towards our AI future. I'm very thankful and I feel very honored to have this opportunity to talk to all of you. And that's the reason we chose to collaborate with CTU and become a headline sponsor. You'll be wondering who the hell is WDG and what are they doing here? And who am I? I won't talk much about myself, but I really want to talk about what WDG, World Digital Governance, is about. You must be wondering, it's kind of the job of the UN, if some of you know what our agenda is. And we collaborate very closely with the United Nations bodies. But what is it really about? What are we trying to do? Of course, it is digital. And the word digital is a broad term. We all understand digital to be AI in today's world. We also understand digital to be data, but also digital encompasses digital assets, virtual assets, tokenization, NFTs. So digital is an umbrella word. Our intention here today to be at CTU and participate in our theme, which is really about connecting our future, is really bringing all of Caribbean together and connecting the Caribbean future first, of course, as Secretary General Taylor just mentioned, collaboration with the ITU and connecting our international future. And that's why world digital governance, not just Caribbean digital governance. And that's our ambition. Eventually, we want to bring the entire world together because we're headed very fast down a very slippery slope with AI. And I'm sure there's a lot of fear that you've heard from people, and some of us do believe that AI will take some jobs away. Countries that have BPO sectors have those concerns. But really, I want to talk about a few things, and I've been given 20 minutes, so bear with me on what we're going to talk about. The first and foremost thing, which I think we all deeply care about, is jobs. Because if we don't have jobs, we don't have taxes. We don't have taxes, we can't build the roads, and economies will perish. So the most important topic really is jobs. But there is a bigger topic, there's a more pertinent topic that I'll start with first before I talk about jobs. And that is sovereignty. And bringing these two together in a world of AI, what does it really mean? And how will we actually win this AI race? I'm sure we all see that the bigger nations, the larger nations, and I call it the global north versus the south, I'm sure we've heard this term before. The global north really has kind of won the race. How many of us, I'd just like to see a show of hands, how many of us believe the global north has already won the race on AI? I'm glad nobody's raising the hand because I still believe that there's a great opportunity. And it's very encouraging to see nobody raise the hand. Because if we all raise the hand, I realize I have a lot more work to do. So clearly, the race, some would argue, has been won. But I think let's talk about what the opportunity is and how we can win, and what does it really mean for AI future, and then what do we as ministers, regulators, the Caribbean people, and the citizens of the world can do to bring that shift. So the first topic that I really want to encourage us to think about is digital sovereignty. Now, another show of hands, how many of us have heard the term digital sovereignty before coming to this room? And if you haven't, feel free to raise your hand. Okay, great. So I think we all understand the idea of digital sovereignty. It is really about owning your digital self. How many of us have heard the term digital you before coming into this room? Digital you. Okay, all right, so I will elaborate. Digital sovereignty is a little bit of an abstract term. And as Richard Feynman, a great physicist, would say, if you understand something, you can explain it to your 9-year-old. So you go home, you are talking to your 9-year-old, and you're trying to explain to them digital sovereignty. Where might you even begin? They'd be kind of confused, like, I don't know, this is something you do at work. Don't bother me. That's what you'll hear from your 9-year-old. But if you wanted to explain this to them, and you said, do you understand the concept of digital you? It may be easier to understand. We all understand the physical you, right? We live in our bodies, right? As Warren Buffett would say, it's the only car you're ever going to get in your lifetime. Take care of it. So the digital you is similarly a part of you, just like the physical you. It's all your data, every Facebook post you made, every WhatsApp message you send, every stuff you put online. It's all your data. It's all your information, all your ID cards, all your identity. But it is also all your agentic AI, all your agents. How many of us have used ChatGPT in the room? Almost all of us, yeah? Or Gemini, or some tool. And when you use these tools, now that data that you are simply putting in Facebook, putting online, you're putting into these agents. Now that agent is learning who you are, learning to behave like you. It's becoming you. And the question here is, who owns that? For the data, a lot of people say, I don't care. The data is in Facebook or on WhatsApp. Who cares? Fine, let somebody have it. But what is the risk or consequence of not owning your agent? Any guesses? Anybody in the room? What is the risk? How many of us know that corporations in America and other large nations are working very aggressively to build agents that will do jobs and replace humans? And hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe billions of venture capital is being put behind it. So if an agent can be created, you go to your workplace, you give all your knowledge, all your brain to an agent can be created, and the agent can start doing your job from tomorrow. So maybe you're not required. And that's the risk of not owning the digital you. And it's a significant risk, and especially for nations. For example, Manila, 800 people in a call center were just let go overnight because somebody built an agent, and now the airline didn't need these people anymore. So risks are there, pertinent risk. And my aim here is not to scare you into this risk, but to encourage you to think about how you're going to contend with this, because this is reality and it's coming. And how are we going to win in this race, so to speak? And what is this race really? And where is the opportunity to win? But understanding the risk is critical. Understanding the need for digital sovereignty is critical. So what is the race? Now here in Jamaica, we all know, this is the country where we are the fastest man on earth, Usain Bolt. So Jamaica knows how to win a race. Let's just say that. But I think the entire Caribbean, by that token, knows how to win the race, because at the end of the day, Usain Bolt is Caribbean, and there are other people across the Caribbean who know how to win races in different fields, in different industries. And I'll humor you to think about the races of AI. How many of us have heard what are the races in AI before coming in here? I'm not talking about gender and class. What are the races of AI? There are 3 races in AI that are happening right now. Race number 1, the hardware race. Can anyone tell me who's winning the hardware race? I'm sure we all read news and media. Who's winning the hardware race right now? I think we've all heard the name NVIDIA, multi-trillion-dollar valuation company. So the hardware race, the winner, and not to say that they'll stay first in the race forever, because it's a perpetual race. There's no end point you're running. So NVIDIA is the leader in that race right now, the hardware race. And you could argue by that token, a lot of other people may not even want to fight or win in that race anymore, because someone else is way far ahead. You're like miles behind. Maybe that race can be won, maybe not. So the hardware race is kind of lost, somewhat. Yes, with maybe $100 billion or $500 billion of capital, which in an economy which entire GDP is 30, 40, 50 billion, it's kind of hard to contemplate. Nobody's giving you that debt or equity. So that race is a hard one to win. It's just reality. And I'm not a realist, I'm actually an idealist in some sense. But it's a hard one. What's the other race? Software. Because around all that hardware, you're going to need software. So who's winning the software race right now? Any guesses? I know Huawei is here in the room, so I'm not talking about China. I'm talking about the US and more globally. So of course, we'd say, hey, Huawei is running the race in China. But who's winning the race more globally in the software world? Like, where are the models, right? And I'm not talking about DeepSeek in China, but more broadly, what are the common models? The GPT, the Geminis, Claude, etc. So all of these software firms, again, are largely US, maybe some in Europe, Mistral. So the global north is winning that software race. So you'd say, okay, then what's the point? We already lost the AI race. Why bother? Let's not even bother. Then let's go about and just figure out what we're going to do. We'll go back to farming or something, because people are going to need food. Why bother with AI in all the other countries, especially the global south? Because we don't have the money, we can't build the software, we can't build the hardware. But herein comes the opportunity. And as Charlie Munger, the great man who worked with Warren Buffett, once said, every problem, you can look at it as a problem and get stressed and go to the hospital, or you can look at it as an opportunity. And it's called problem inversion. So if you invert this problem, you see what's the other side of this coin. So on the one side of this coin is hardware and software. You flip the coin over. Any guesses what's on the other side of this coin? Any guesses? Okay, I'll let the cat out of that bag. On the other side of the coin is services, AI services. We all know, to give is good, an act of service. You go to the church, it teaches you the act of service of giving. But what is services in the world? We all know software services, BPO services, AI services. Like BPO, it won't make a lot of money for us. But let me break it to you. For every $1 of hardware and software, no matter what manufacturer makes it, and Huawei here can tell me if I'm wrong, for every $1 of hardware and software that is made, 100 to 1,000, maybe even $10,000 of services get sold in the world. So we're sitting on a gold mine of an opportunity. And you know who's going to win that race? The global south. And I'm making a bet that the epicenter of that global south, that future, lies right here in Jamaica and the Caribbean. Why? Because unlike South Korea and Japan, which could also win that race, or Manila, they're just too far away physically. And I've validated this. This is real today. And what do I mean by this is real? I had this hypothesis 6 months ago that this is possible. So I went to all our customers. I also represent Intellibus, not just the World Digital Governance Organization. That's a not-for-profit effort. Intellibus is a for-profit company. I founded it. I was a lone founder. We have grown. We've been very successful in the last decade. We have grown 150x. Now in the next year, we're looking to grow again another 10x. We're one of the fastest growing software firms in the US. And the point here is that that race can be won, and I have validated it with organizations at Wall Street, right from large financial institutions and private equity firms. And in all my meetings, I have made this hypothesis to them. And I said, would you fund this? Would you support this? Including large development banks, like the CAF, which here, you're going to see Oscar Aravale coming here later, talking to some of the ministers, as well as World Bank. So in all my conversations, I have been encouraged greatly that yes, everybody wants to support this. Not just because it's for the greater good of society, but they want to support this because they think that this will actually work. Because at the end of the day, it's investor money that they're putting behind. So the question is, what will convince? And it's not going to be cheap and easy just because we want to win this race. It's going to need money. It's not going to need the $500 billion Stargate project in America, but it's going to need still $500 million to win this race. And yes, collectively, as one nation, 30 billion, 40 billion, 50 billion, whatever your GDP is, you can't get that money. But if you collaborate together, you come up with one voice. And I am working very closely with the development banks. I'm happy to bring every single one in the room, right from their top leadership. We can get that money. And with that money, we can truly win this AI services race. And in the absence of that, we'd be kidding ourselves that we can even play in this race, let alone win it. Why? Because I have been experimenting as a pilot to prove myself right or wrong. I'm an experimenter, I'm an engineer. And I've been doing this here in the Caribbean for about 4 months. Chris Record here, the chairman of the AI task force, will probably tell you some more if you want to ask him on what that journey has been like. But let me break it a little bit of that journey to you. When I came here back in January of this year, I was here speaking at the Jamaica Stock Exchange Conference. I knew little about Jamaica other than Bob Marley and Usain Bolt. But when I came here, I saw a pastor, so I saw some spirit on the stage. And I'm a believer, I'm still religious. So I liked that. Then the next thing I saw, a lot of people, a lot of young people, very excited. There was a little lady here, Anvi, who works with us, just walked up to me, very excited. So I saw an energy, I saw excitement. So I felt like, okay, there is something here that I can work with. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business guy. So I like to find spirit, because at the end of the day, you need a team to win. So the biggest question in my mind was, can Jamaica help me build a team to win? And I have been going around the world, from Cyprus to Poland to Romania, all these places, trying to find a place where I have the spirit, a team that I can build. And I can tell you, I have been extremely successful here in the last few months, encouraged enough to make a significant investment commitment to Jamaica for the next decade. Earlier this year, I made a commitment, and so far, I'm on the path that we will be adding 1 billion Jamaican dollars every year to the Jamaican economy, starting the end of this year. And that will go up to 10 billion in the next decade. And I'm extremely committed to doing that, and I've made that public commitment. And I'm not the only person who can do this. There are multiple Caribbean economies, and I have a lot of other people in high places who'd be very interested to come and look at the success story and build upon it, and collaborate with you, partner with you, bring the dollars, bring the investments, and create the jobs that the economies need. AI services jobs. And then you may wonder, are these jobs real, etc. But I think that's a longer conversation beyond the keynote. I'm here for a while. So feel free to grab me, test my hypothesis, because I'm testing my own hypothesis. But I'm very encouraged, because I have been able to find 50 of the smartest people who are working here. And I have my clients telling me that some of the greatest American people that I had hired in America, and I'm American, don't get me wrong. I am deeply American at heart. I was born in India, though. But when the customers come and tell you, look at David Thomas, and I'm just going to call him out because literally that's what I heard from the customer, and how he has grown in 3 months. Ed, find me more of those people. It gives me goosebumps. It's giving me goosebumps right now. And I believe those people exist here. And so we have launched another initiative called crackthecode.org. It is an initiative that goes deep in the grassroots of Jamaica. I have a 350 people volunteer team, and thanks to Jamaicans for volunteering to do this. I really appreciate it. Otherwise, it would be economically unviable to do this until World Bank or somebody funds it. 350 people going parish to parish, hosting events every day, finding raw talent, raw energy that can transform, and people who want to do this. And let me give you 2 examples of what I found. Mandeville. We all heard of Mandeville. Anyone from Jamaica? I'm sure we all know what Mandeville is. A little kid called Aiden, 12 years old, comes to this competition and wins amongst all other smart engineers who are there to compete. Clarendon, a nurse who has never programmed in her life before, wins. And the number 2 guy is a cybersecurity expert. I mean, no offense to any cybersecurity experts. So AI is a great leveler. It can take someone who knew nothing about coding. They just had that sharps, the street smarts, that raw energy, and they can kick ass. Excuse my French now. But that's the opportunity. And I believe that's right here. I believe, as they say, and I think our lady tried to say that, I'm going to use my broken Jamaican, we lick but we talawa. And that's the opportunity. And goes not just for Jamaicans, all of Caribbean. Yes, we are little. Exclude the greater Caribbean. I mean, of course, we want to include everybody, but we're just maybe 7 million people without Cuba and Domrep and Haiti. Of course, together, we have 44 million people, bigger than Canada. Just right here on the islands. And Canada's GDP is 2.1 trillion, 2.9 trillion, somewhere in that ballpark. And we have the same number of people. We're just as far in terms of geographical distance. And guess what? People in Canada tell me, hey, Ed, I'll come here in the winters. So nobody wants to be in the cold anyway. So we've got the best weather. There is no reason to think beyond tourism, not think beyond tourism. And that's the opportunity. So with that, I'd like to leave a few thoughts behind with you. Without the emphasis on the digital you, the digital sovereignty, these AI services jobs won't come. Because if we let our people use OpenAI and GPT, and I'm in favor of all these tools, I'm not saying don't use them. All the brain power, all the knowledge will keep going there. So yesterday I was having a conversation with some of the ministers, and I was encouraging them to collaborate with me to set up physical data centers here, which will run inferencing chips. Yes, of course, it will reduce some of the telecom bandwidth needs, and I understand this is a CTU forum. But globally, we will still win. Telecom companies can participate in those data centers and infrastructure projects. So we can all still win. And that way, we protect our national sovereignty, we protect our digital sovereignty, and we create jobs right here. Now you may wonder, okay, 50 jobs, how does it matter? But I gave you some numbers, 1 billion Jamaican dollars. That 1 billion Jamaican dollars is just, how many jobs is that? Just 100 jobs. Just 100 jobs. And that 10 billion Jamaican dollars is just 1,000 jobs. And I believe if we all collaborate, if we all come together, 10,000 jobs, 50,000 jobs, 500,000 jobs, that's all possible, distinctly possible. But what will it take? Not just the ICT ministers, the education ministers, the finance ministers, everybody coming together. And I'm going to talk more about this because think of how you can help your finance minister. Through this process, we have built a quantitative model where you can measure human intelligence using AI, and it creates an index called the Human Intelligence Surplus. Now, this number your finance minister can use in every sovereign debt negotiation. So there are tools like that available if we are taking the WDG pathway, or either I should say when you're taking the WDG pathway. And I would encourage, therefore, all of us to seriously consider the resolution that will be put forth towards in front of you by the CTU, because signing that resolution will help me convince all the development banks that Caribbean is one voice, and they're going to come together, and this will actually be a winnable race, because at the end of the day, everybody is answerable to investors for money and dollars. I have made my bet, and I'm confident at least I will not lose my part of the bet. But convincing others to bring you hundreds of millions of dollars and them winning their bets is a lot of operational variables. Lots can go wrong. But with your support as ministers, your unshakable belief that this is what needs to happen, that's what's the need of the hour. So I really, in the spirit of CTU ICT Week, it's really about our connected future. It's digital, but our connected future. So I can't be thankful enough. I think it's just divine intervention that was the theme picked by Secretary General Taylor. So I applaud him for his foresight and his intuition. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity to hear me out. I hope this will leave you with something to ponder about. I'll be here for the rest of the week. If you need me, feel free to grab me, ask me whatever questions you have, and let's test this hypothesis together. By no means take what I have told you for gospel. Challenge me, ask me hard questions. But I'm confident together we can bring not only 10 billion, I will bring 10 billion Jamaican dollars, but we can bring 100 billion Jamaican dollars with your collaboration. Thank you very much.